Make it up loud. Let the story unfold. We're the masters of smash. Be brave and be bold. In the heart of the battle, we'll rise from the ground. With every beat pumping in a warrior sound.
Welcome to the Smash Masters podcast. I unmuted my mic this time.
Nice. Very good.
For those of you who listen regularly, you notice I've had an issue with that and StreamYard. I hit the go live button and it mutes me for the start. So thanks, StreamYard. I don't know why you do that.
Works so good every time, doesn't it? Alex is first. What's up, Alex?
It's only sometimes too. Usually when I'm ready to unmute it, it does it. It unmutes me. And it's like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But whatever. It
We
is
worked
what it is.
faster, though. You got it.
It wouldn't be a Smash Masters episode without some kind of technical difficulties, right?
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Said that before.
Well, we are episode 95. 5 more till we hit that 100 mark. What do we have? We have Anson open house coming up this weekend in Texas. So
Yeah.
that should be a fun time.
I'm looking forward to it. It's the 30th anniversary. I only went that one time 2 years ago. You were there. But good food, good times.
Mhm.
You know, it's funny. I was actually going through my Facebook photos, and I think that's the first event where I told myself, you're going to take a selfie with everyone. Because when I look at the photos, we got a selfie with everyone.
All kinds of people.
And the thing is I'm looking at the selfies and I'm like, yeah, I know all these people now. I had no idea who any of them were when we were there at the open house. I had no idea. I was just like, yeah, let's take a picture of that person and that person. Didn't matter to me, you know.
Hey, it was a fun time, but it was our first time there. We skipped last year. But anything you're looking forward to? I mean, you gonna buy anything? Looking at anything? Thinking about anything?
I'm really not planning to purchase anything, to tell you the truth, but you know it'll happen. So I'm looking forward to, you know, participating in any of the raffles or anything like that. And it really just getting to hang out with people. I mean, this is an event where, you know, unlike MTE, people, you know, they're laid back, they're not sitting at our booth selling stuff, so you can just go and hang out with, I don't know, people that normally you don't get to hang out with. So
Right. Yeah.
it's
I agree. It'll be a fun time. Looking forward to going back. I drove last time, but now I'm flying this time. It's easier. It's like an hour flight. So yeah.
So I got a rental car.
Mhm.
Any idea what I got?
Man, I don't know. Last time you had a Mazda Miata. I have no clue, but I assume it's going to be something similar to that.
To tell you the truth, I didn't do anything crazy this time. I just wondered if you remembered about that. Actually, the last time we were there, I planned on getting a Challenger. It said Challenger is similar, so I clicked on that, and all they had were
Chevy tracks.
all they had were 6-cylinder Camaros and a couple Mustang convertibles. And I'm like, I don't want to drive any of those, you know? So I took the Miata. I just drove the Miata. Thing was beat to shit.
It was. I got to ride Passenger Princess in it, and it was beat to shit.
It was beat to shit. It was you know, whatever. It was fun.
I don't know what you got, but whatever it is, I'm riding Passenger Princess in it too. So I'm ready.
Yeah. It'll be something like a Chevy Trax.
Yeah. Some shit like that.
Maybe I'll get you in a Tesla.
I mean,
I won't do it. I won't do that.
I don't care.
No, I know. Yeah, see, James said he'd take the Miata over the other car. So my choice wasn't that bad. Between those options, the Miata was the one to go with. I wish it had been in better shape. That's all.
Yeah, it seemed like it had been taken apart for shipping, and then somebody quickly put it back together.
The shifting was so rough on that thing.
Everything was rough on that thing.
Then speaking of events, we have the Cam Auto competition coming up too. I just got a note today. It will still be being held at the Cam Auto shop, not the gymnasium like we thought, but they said it's a different layout this time. I'm interested to see what it is. Charlie's always surprises with his layouts, his booth layouts and everything. The competition was a surprise last year. He did a good job with it. So looking forward to that.
Oh, it can only be improved from here, huh?
I mean, sure.
I mean, all things considered.
It was
I mean,
nice. So, I mean, it could go down. So, but I don't
know, man. I think when you start something, especially if you start like your first thing, your initial second year, all your goal is to always one up it somehow, you know.
Well, he is doing 2 competitions this year, not just a PDR competition, but a glue pulling competition only.
Yeah.
So no access to the backside of the panel.
That'd be cool.
So that's interesting. And Gene Fetty, the Gluru, will be one of those competitors. He's representing the US in that competition. So it'd be interesting.
Cool. Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Plan to grab interviews from everybody I can, put it all together, put it out as a podcast episode, and see. You know, I'm just gonna go along for the ride.
Right.
No dog this time. Not taking the dog.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
She hated it.
Right. Well, see, Vince is back here waiting. So let's see what he's got going on. I think he's ready now. I think he's got everything set up. What's up, Vince?
Can you hear us?
Well, I'm messing with my internet, but you guys are a little bit choppy. I thought I'd be able to take care of some things. You guys are frozen. I don't know if you're talking to me or not.
Not at the moment. No, we can hear you and see you.
We can hear you. You're good.
Oh, okay. You know what? It's working now.
Okay. So I mean, on our end, you seem to
there.
be okay. So
okay. Well, I changed rooms and I told the boys upstairs to stop gaming for an hour. So we'll see.
Kick them off the games.
I feel bad for them. I remember being a kid, but when in my time it was get off the dial up. We need to use the phone. You know?
But the difference is these are adult kids, so they should listen by now.
Yeah. Right. Right.
That is different. That is different. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah.
We'd love to.
Thanks for having me.
We'd love to hear.
I watch you guys all the time.
Yeah, we see you in the comment section. We see you in the comment section there. We'd love to get a basis on your story on cars, and I mean, were you always interested in cars, or what started the path towards I'm going to touch cars for a living?
Well, I've always been into the look of cars, but if you tell me that's a 68 Camaro or a 69 Camaro or a 67 Camaro, I couldn't tell you the difference. I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll trust your word. So I wouldn't say I'm huge into cars, but I'm into the style of cars. I'm into the way cars looked. When I was a kid, I had Hot Wheels like everyone else. But it seems like whatever I've ever gotten into in my life, I go full 2 feet in, just dive right in and get involved in it.
Okay. So I mean, was that your first career path with cars, or did you do something else earlier?
No, out of high school, I was in high school, I was in the printing out of high school, I was in the printing industry, and Stephen Dyke, hello, no. I was in the printing industry, and I thought that was going to be my calling because, back in the 90s, the early 90s, there was this thing called Photoshop, and it was just coming into the printing industry, and I'm like, oh, wow, I need to learn that. I went to college for a couple semesters and picked that up and went back to work running presses and things like that. And I'm like, I'm going to try and get into the graphics department. And I did that. And all along, I had a buddy that worked for Dent Wizard, and he was only a couple, 2-3 years older than me, and he was making a killing. And
Okay.
here I am making like $14 an hour.
Yeah.
And if I'm stepping on you guys, I'm sorry. It's still kind of breaking up.
You're
good.
fine. We got a little bit of a delay here, so what I'll do is like I'm gonna wait for a good pause before I start talking, and you know,
Right.
that's
Okay.
how we'll deal with it.
I just don't want to talk all over y'all. You might have questions along the way.
We're
But
good.
I had a buddy of mine, Joe, and he worked for Dent Wizard, was making a killing, and I'm like, dude, get me a job. He's like, I can't. You're only 19. I'm like, dude, you got to get me a job. No, you're only 19. They don't hire anyone under 21. So I turned 20, and I was begging him. I said, just get me an interview with the manager or whatever. And he got me an interview, and they're like, well, we've never hired anyone in their 20s before, but we're going to take a chance on you. And they got me an opportunity. And I showed up in St. Louis about a month later. I told my printing job. They were actually going to promote me to head of the graphics department. I'm like, sorry, I can't take the position. I'm going to fix cars for a living. And they're like, what? So they didn't understand what paintless dent removal was.
Of course not.
You know, I didn't understand either, really.
Right. Right.
Okay. So I
That-
actually
that
didn't
was,
know you got.
1995.
I didn't know you were a Dent Wizard. So that's interesting. What area was that? Where were you located at that time when you started with Dent Wizard?
I was in Chicago. Yeah, I'm born and raised Chicago.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you'll hear a little Chicago and me coming out tonight. It just kind of happens.
Yeah.
Even though I've been gone there for a really long time.
You know, it's funny. I've actually been accused of having a Midwestern accent, even though I'm born and raised in Connecticut. But my parents are both from just outside of Chicago. So I wonder if that's where that comes from.
Could be.
It might. It might. I mean, my mom's from Ireland and my dad's from Italy, and I go to Ireland and I start speaking with an Irish accent after a couple 2-3 days. It's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you.
That's cool.
Nick's already got me
Yeah.
saying y'all. So
Yeah, I don't get accused of having a
Yeah.
Midwest accent or anything like that. So don't worry about that.
not at all. Not at all. All
Definitely
right.
not.
So what was training for Dent Wizard like for you?
It was brutal. It was 2 months of not knowing if you were going to make it or not. They always had this like doom and gloom hovering over you.
Yeah.
And at the time, I'm a 20-year-old. All the other guys, they're 21 plus. They're going out to the bars every night after training. I go back to my house that, you know, I was corporate, and corporate had a house for their corporate techs, and I would just shoot pool all night, you know, and, you know, I never got into any of the craziness because I was too young. I couldn't go to the bars. I did go to East St. Louis 1 or 2 times, which was a little bit crazy.
Okay.
But for the most part, I was there to work, and I wanted to get this job right. Like I said earlier, I when I get into something, I get into something full fledged, and I really wanted to make it happen. And if you made it the first month, you kind of knew that you were going to make it the second month.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the first month, we saw people getting either kicked out and sent home, or sent down to Lido in Miami because they were franchisees and they've already invested money in them, and Lido was going to beat them into shape.
Mhm.
Interesting.
So the fear was you were either going to get bounced or you were going to get sent to Lido, and I didn't want either of them.
Right.
Yeah, I hear you. Melissa Willie says, Vinny, see you on Friday over on Instagram.
See you on Friday. She's coming down to Texas, huh?
We will see you too.
Oh,
Yeah, definitely.
That's
we
coming
love
up.
the Willies. Love
That's coming up really quick. So
It is.
Yeah.
it. Sure,
It is.
it really is.
Look at you go over there. Look at you over there.
Oh goodness. All right, cool. So I actually that kind of lines up a little bit with what I've heard about Dent Wizard training, at least with the amount of time that you said, and about people getting kicked out within the first month and everything. So that's good. And then I still tell people, even though I have no experience myself with Dent Wizard, when people want to learn PDR, I said, if you really want to learn PDR, quit your job and go work for Dent Wizard. And they go, well, I don't want to do that. And I say, well, you don't have what it takes then, or something, because like, I feel like it takes that level of commitment. And it's probably the best way to learn PDR, in my opinion, to to go and learn wholesale for months. And then if you want to quit and go to retail, that's on you.
Yeah. And that's what Dent Wizard did with us. Once you got out of school, you didn't go working on dealership lots, or at least I didn't back in the day. They stuck you at the auto auction, and you worked underneath a couple guys that were like lead technicians or senior technicians. For me, one of them was Dave Shalat. He was my Dent dad. And I've known Dave since 1995.
Okay.
And I could tell you stories for days about Dave, but your podcast is a short time.
Yep. Dave's great. I mean, we had him on the show.
We did have him on. He had a lot of good stuff to say, and I'm sure he only just touched over, just glossed over some of the highlights at that.
He's one of the many people that we've said we got to have him back on, because there's not an hour is just not enough time.
He's got a lot of info out there to give.
But okay, so so you were working at the auction with Dave Shalat and them. How long did they keep you in that kind of situation before you go to dealership lots?
Well, here we are.
Can you hear him?
I can't hear him. No. Can you hear him?
Darn it.
Oh, there he is.
Okay.
He's back. All right. So don't worry. We didn't hear any of it. So same question. Okay. How long were you there before the dealerships?
I think I was 2 to 3 months out of training, and Chicago got hit with a huge hailstorm. And immediately they're like, all right, it's Scramble City. This is before, Dent Wizard had, a national hail team and stuff like that. They had people that they called on. But primarily they would grab the best techs and go do this, go do that. And I said, I want to learn hail. And so they're like, okay, MFer, here's about 2,000 dents the size of my pinky nail on it.
Yeah.
Go park yourself on that for a little bit and see how that turns out. And I was probably on it for about 2 weeks, but and I wanted to quit. I'm like, this is horrendous. This is terrible. I hate this. What am I doing? And for the most part, just the repetition right out of school, it really helped. I mean, to have 2,000 tiny dents, not a clean part on the panel to compare it to, it just honed me in and got me focused and hyper focused. And that's one thing Dent Wizard was always good at early on, and I don't know if they still do, but they certainly pick a certain type of technician for their techs. I think the majority of the guys that succeed in this with Dent Wizard, they have a certain type A personality.
Yeah.
You were trained by David White. David White and myself were pretty much the same, type of personality. We might have grown up different, but we're obnoxious. We're loud, and there's like a level of confidence that they choose in technicians that really worked well.
You're not wrong. It's actually something that Gene was talking about in his podcast not too long ago, about how, man, it'd be really interesting to do personality tests for PDR techs. And there's got to be some similarities amongst us, to be that kind of person that'll hunt down from every angle, it's a crazy skill to learn, if you really think about it.
And it carries over into your personal life too. Like you're driving down the road and you see something that's crooked or not straight, and it's like, oh man, I want to go fix that and make that straight again. You know?
Yep. My garage door has dents in it. It'd drive me insane, and I'm like, I gotta put a glue tab on it. I keep wanting to. One of these days, I'll do it.
Yeah,
and you know there will be a video on it too. So
so you might get some action behind me. I had to move rooms for better internet connection, so I'm out of my office. You might hear a baby cry, and my wife.
No worries.
That's all right.
You're all good. So Dent Wizard had you doing hail and everything. That first car took you quite a while, which makes sense. So they had no problems letting you sit on a car for 2 weeks. I mean that.
No, not at all. They did that, and then they developed me into a dealer route. You know, they were kings at like getting their ringers to go into accounts and get the account, like the really good technicians. And then they would slowly wean them out and put in a technician, and they would take over, and you would have to be up to speed to be able to keep up with that type of work. But, you know, Dent Wizard technicians, old ones, probably still to this day, were taught to speed Class A dent. You know, you heard that term before, Class A dent, oversized dent, make it perfect, make it as fast and quick and clean as possible. And that's what we were trained to do, and that's what I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, that's great repetition. That's great. That's great training. It's something that I didn't really get. I mean, it was I'm practicing this stuff in the body shop, you know, so half the damage I get is at least this big. You know, so I mean, there's good parts and bad parts to that. You know, I didn't get a lot of reps in because I was focused on all these massive smashes.
Yeah.
I did have the ability to use Bondo on most of them, so you don't hone in those detail skills. So that's why I tell people, if they're really interested in learning PDR, especially if they don't already have a body shop career, get a job at Dent Wizard.
Yeah.
You know, check it out, get the training, see if you like it. You know, it could be you spend a little bit in the training and you find out, nope, not for me, you know, and then
Absolutely.
move on.
I've noticed since I've been doing hail work quite a bit here recently, which is pretty much all I've been doing. Smash work and hail work is two totally different mindsets.
Completely.
Like completely different. And I mean, you can tell somebody that, and you can reach somebody and show them the details and the differences, but until you actually experience it, it's like, okay, you know, you have to go to like I don't know, a damaged quarter panel that's one bigger size dent, totally different than you have to go to, like, say, a hail car. And hail work, you're looking for efficiency and those kind of things. And big smash dents, you're still looking for efficiency, but cleanliness. How can you move some of this as clean as possible without picking it up and damaging certain spots and moving crowns, and just a different thought process. But it's just fun to kind of be experiencing both.
Well, not to sound like the old guy, but y'all have it nice and easy now. Because I mean, back not even that long ago, 5 years ago, prior to 5 years ago, there wasn't all this lateral tension. It was talked about. Don't get me wrong. It was talked about by Barry and by another fellow out in California that I can't think of his name right now. They've been talking for years, 10, 15 years about lateral tension. But the bridge systems and stuff like that. And none of that really, we didn't have any of that. We had small tip tools fixing gigantic dents, pushing it 10,000 times. You know, now it's like boom, 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 done. On to the next car. We did not have that, 10 years ago.
There's crazy developments in the methods and everything in the last 5-10 years. So I mean, just because I go back and I listen to like PDR College, and you can see the progression through that, even though I wasn't around in the industry at that time. But yeah, We are lucky, and not just lateral tension, but glue pulling alone.
Good point,
And
yeah.
And
It's-
glue pulling alone has came a long way.
Yeah.
Huge. When smooth face tabs came out from Black Plague, and Kiko started making all the from big smash to little stuff tabs that stuck like hell. So yeah, we are lucky. I agree with you. And
man,
there's
It's really good. It's good for
There's
the
a-
industry. It's good for the tech. I mean,
Yeah,
we're
years we're going to be saying the same thing to the people that are learning then. There's going to be something that's going to make our lives easier, and some whatever cold glue that doesn't leave any residue at all, something, so
Yeah.
who knows.
Yeah, we're still in that phase with cold glue right now, where hot glue was in the beginning. The first kit I got, the Worth tabs and the glue, and we're like, what the crap is this? This is garbage. This is garbage. But we kept on plugging at it and cutting the tabs and moving this and trying different glues. It's like, okay, this could work, and then you figure it out, and then the manufacturers start figuring out what you need and start producing what you need. And just the evolution of hot glue is amazing. And now you see it in cold glue, where if you're not using cold glue, even in a body shop scenario, I mean, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're putting yourself way back compared to other guys that are out there.
I happen to agree. Body shops in particular, I mean, but PDR tech, I mean, you don't want to lock up your big damage with cold glue right away, but a body tech, they don't care. They'll lock that up and finish it off with a stud puller and then skim it and paint it, so that's a great tool for the body shop.
Yeah,
It is. I agree. The only issue I have with it is when it gets too hot out here, it just melts.
sure.
I mean, that's my only issue. Like, I don't know, last month or so when it's been cooler in the mornings, I've been able to use it just fine. It's been great. But once it heats up during the day, it just stops working.
Yeah,
Which
Which
is
coat-
unfortunate. Sticky gum.
Sticky gum. Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
I'm not terribly familiar with sticky gum, but it is along the contents of like a Glexo or old
Yeah.
Surgicos type. Some of the newer stuff does not do that as
Yeah.
much. It'll
Well-
give you a little bit higher working time.
Yeah, I would love to find that particular version and take it here with me, because I mean it's useful when I'm able to use it. So
Yeah,
I think you should give one of the new ones a try, Nick, because
Yeah.
the Diablo has been pretty good to me. I could see how the Diablo might melt in your but I think it would last to a higher temp than anything you've used yet.
because I know the Diablo likes a panel temperature of like 110, 120 degrees. Once you get
I-
the panel temp, like
I haven't tried Diablo yet.
I
so
mean, Lee says that he hasn't done it to him, and he's down in Texas a lot. So
I don't know. Maybe when we get to Anson, I'll look through and maybe I'll take something else home with me and put sticky gum away. But as of right now, that's all I've been using.
Well, I
Speak-
wish you were here today because it was 95 degrees and like 90% humidity. And when
Yeah.
y'all are here on Saturday, it's going to be like 65 degrees
Yeah,
and raining.
yeah, that sounds
well,
about right.
rainy sucks, but 65.
It's always raining on the weekends.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be
Speaking of
It'll be all right.
Speaking of the Diablo, do you have any idea if they're coming out with the larger tabs, the applicators, anytime soon?
Yes. Well, that already came out last week. I think I put it in. The biggest tab now I want to say is 30 millimeter,
Awesome.
which is, that's like dollar size, silver dollar size.
That's
Yeah.
pretty big. I was piecing some together to put some on a larger tab. I think I burned the crap out of my finger trying to get it on there. It worked, but yeah.
They're developing larger ones and crease ones as well. So those should be out. I don't want to give you a timeline at all, but
Okay.
I would say probably within the next 6 months.
Cool.
We probably see the really big tabs.
Yeah.
30 millimeter is pretty big. I mean, that's
big.
a pretty big tab.
That's big. No, that's as big as I would go with cold
Yeah.
glue. I mean, I don't generally need it. If you're putting a 30 millimeter on it, you're not gonna pop that off. You gotta peel that off, you
No,
know,
it's
like if you have it on right.
And if I'm not mistaken, it's either 25 or 30, and 25 is still big, but millimeters are small.
Yeah, right.
All right, cool. No, that was on my mind. It's I like the stuff. I use it all the time now. I'm switching all of my tabs over from sticky gum to Diablo. So
Yeah.
It's been on my mind too. I've been wanting to try something different, but just being in hot weather, I wanted something that's going to actually work instead of something else that just when it gets hot, it's just not gonna stop working. So
No, and I think that'll cure some of your needs, Nick. Like I said, as long as you're not out in the sun in a shaded spot. I know I like to cool it down with. I always had a squirt bottle of water. It doesn't even have to be ice water, just to cool the panel down real quick, and then flash it with your heat gun to get rid of that humidity. That's the key thing that a lot of guys that I've learned from the technicians coming in is getting rid of that humidity.
Mhm.
And that's not just with Diablo, that's going to be with all cold glues.
Right. No, I agree. I'm not normally out in the sun. I usually tell them like give me a shaded spot. I'm not sitting out here in the sun doing this, so I'll find a shaded spot to do it. That's not a problem. It's just, usually by the time you get out here and try to use it, even cooling some of these cars down, they just don't ever reach that temperature sometimes, even in the shaded spots.
Yeah.
That's the only problem.
I get it. I get it. I think it would be worth it for you to try.
Yeah, no, I want to try it, and I don't want to buy cans of air and turn it upside down and spray the panel all the time. I don't want to do that.
We're beyond that now with some.
I think so.
Yeah. Yep. No, it's been impressive to see that stuff coming out. So it can only get better. I love how these companies are making them better and better and better.
We'll see you Saturday, Lee. We're flying in Saturday.
Yep. Flying in Saturday. Go right to the
bummer. Friday's going to be a ripper too, guys.
Oh no. Well, it's what I did 2 years ago. I flew in Saturday, flew out Sunday, worked out pretty well for me. So that's what I planned this time. And I'm a planner, so I bought these tickets forever ago.
Yeah.
And then I hear that Gene's doing an advanced glue pulling class the first, and I'm like, man,
yeah,
would have done that. But oh well.
Yeah.
To everybody else out there, now you know.
Yeah,
about
Friday night I usually take everyone that wants to go to a honky tonk for a little traditional Texas vibe, and it gets pretty rowdy. I leave early because I got to work the next day, but they usually shut down the place and have a good time.
I'll keep it in mind for next year.
Yes, always.
I'm learning to leave a day or two, on either before or after event.
Hoots, exactly. We're going to Hoots, Mr. Shalott. There's my dent dad chiming in.
Yeah. Next time we gotta make it Friday instead of Saturday.
Yeah, that's fine
for sure.
Yep. Yeah. No, I got to think about it ahead of time. I don't think about it, and then I make plans, and then whatever. But I'm just glad I get to go.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, being that I just went full time with PDR, it was kind of up in the air. I was like, I'm not sure if it's going to happen. But again, I switched all my finances over to a business credit card this year, and it came with a promotional thing I totally ignored, where it dumped a bunch of miles on me or points, for spending a certain amount within the first how many months. So
yeah,
got me to Anson. It works out for me.
Yeah.
But
now that I have internet, I'm going to move back to my office.
Yeah, for some reason the internet just seemed to start working.
Well, I switched to my hotspot, so
that worked out a lot better, huh?
Exactly. My up speed is good, but my down speed is bad. So
yeah,
and I don't have any whiskey in my kitchen. I got to come to my office to get my whiskey.
There it is. There you go.
Nice.
All right, good. No, so let's get back to your story then. So how long were you with Dent Wizard then?
So
before
95
you decided to leave.
95 to 98, I was in Chicago. And in 98, I was also trying to be a rock star at the time because I'm only, 22,
that.
23 years old at this time.
Hey, I
And-
went through that phase.
Yeah.
I did too. There's this drum set right there.
Yep. Yep.
Got the
I'm
Mesa
sure you-
Boogie in the back, see?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I had a record deal offered to me with the band that I was in Chicago, and we all got up and I told Dent was that, hey, I'm moving to California to be a rock star. If you
Wow.
want me to work there, you got to pay for my trip or pay for my transfer. And they thought about it and they said, yeah, we'll ship your truck out there. You work in the LA office and do us right.
Wow.
And I did them right. I got a few accounts for them, quite a few accounts for them, and then they kind of put me out to pasture at LAX, and I worked on rental cars for 2 years straight, 7 days a week, no days off.
Oh, that doesn't sound very appealing.
No, well, the money was appealing because I'm 24 years old driving around Hollywood in a Corvette, and going to all the places that Motley Crue used to talk about in their girls videos and stuff, and
Okay.
having a really good time.
Okay.
Showing up for work every day and getting the job done, and then my nights were mine. And that wore on me a little bit because being from Chicago, I wanted to be able to go back and see my family once in a while, and it was always a hassle. They were always like, oh well, we have to find someone to look at. Okay, find someone. Go. I need to go for Christmas. I need to go for a wedding, whatever. And they would never be able to find anyone because no one wanted to go out to LAX and work under runways, working on rental cars. So the money was good. It was fantastic, but it was we were put out to pasture, and it pissed me off. So I started complaining, and so they decided that they would let me go. And the way they let people go is kind of cruel and unusual. And it was, hey, we have a meeting at the office Monday morning. Why don't you show up and make sure you have your truck with you? Well, of course I'm going to have my truck with me. I'm going to work, right?
Right.
And then you pull in and, the manager comes in and says, here's a piece of paper. We're letting you go. You sign right here and give me the keys to your truck. And there's a taxi outside waiting for you to take you home. I'm like,
Wow.
Fuck. Right. So,
Wow.
in a matter of, it was May, I bought a house. June, I got married, and then they're letting me go in September. So it was only a few months, and I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? I'd married this girl with a child, so I'm a ready-made dad. I had the responsibility of 2 people or 3 people now, including myself, and a house payment. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And so I decided to go on my own at that point.
Okay. Doing what was the plan? Hail or wholesale or
No, out in California, there's zero hail.
Okay.
And I knew from watching other people that if you go into Dent Wizard accounts, you're going to end up getting sued over it.
Sure.
So I had gone to a couple detail shops and a couple body shops when, some guy couldn't fix something, they would send me out to do it on the way home or something like that. And I went and pursued those accounts, and I just stayed low on the radar. I ended up bringing a case against Dent Wizard that prevented them from suing me because it would have been a harassment case had they sued me after I sued them. So I just kind of built a little bit of a wholesale route for myself away from any Dent Wizard accounts and really concentrated on high-end detail shops and high-end body shops. And from there, I kind of grew it from there to where, I met Mike Toledo early on, and, he's this guy in San Diego, and he calls me up and he's like, hey, I'm getting a lot of calls for Orange County. Do you mind if I give you my leads from Orange County? I'm like, I don't know who you are, but okay. Yeah, sure. So he puts my name on his website, And this is before, the Mike Toledo we know of now.
Right.
And he starts, I'm getting these calls. I'm getting all this money from these jobs. I'm like, holy shit, this is really good. I start feeling guilty. I'm like, Mike, I called him up. I go, dude, I got to give you some money. I can't just take these job leads from you and not pay you something. It just can't sit right. I wasn't raised that way. He's like, yeah, okay, give me $300 a month. I'm like, yeah, quick.
That's a small price to pay to feel good about those leads.
Exactly. It was a very small price.
Yeah.
And then like Mary got involved, his wife, and she started seeing calls in the direction that was going up to me. And so she's like, well, you're going to have to pay a little bit more than that. And I'm like, okay, no problem. I gladly do that. And Mike's always been a real happy-go-lucky guy. Great businessman. Behind every great man, there's, a tyrant of a wife, I guess. I know I got one.
Okay.
But not saying, Mary Toledo's a tyrant.
Right.
But she's, sometimes we have things chirping in our ear. And in that case, it was Mary chirping in Mike's ear and said, you need to get this guy to pay a little bit more, and which I gladly did. And in the process, this one time he calls me up. He's like, hey, there's this thing out in Clearwater, Florida called MTE. You think you want to go? I'm like, I don't know. Let's, what's it about? He's like, I don't know. There's dent guys and there's window tint guys and detailers, and they all hang out. And I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. So Mary drove Mike up to my house, and we left out of LAX, and she's yelling at me to take care of her husband and look after him and this and that. Yeah, no problem. I got him covered. And we went to our first MTE. I think it was like 2005, 2006.
Okay.
And we haven't missed one yet.
Wow. That's
Been to
impressive.
everyone. Yeah. 20 years.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
25 years, 20, something like that. Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah. I mean, from 05 to now, it'd be 21 years. Yeah, that's a long time to be going to an event. So if you went to every one. So Clearwater, Florida, I don't know if I heard about those.
That's where I met, Kevin Bird for the first time, and obviously Kevin Halewood. Kevin was always the greatest guy. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it, because Mike was starting to get an online presence going on at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think probably Kevin saw a lot of value in that, and I indirectly became Mike Toledo's cameraman. So all that early footage you see of Mike, it's me behind the camera videotaping Mike doing all these interviews and stuff. So, and that was back in
an early one where he with I think Chris White's first MTE, where Mike went and interviewed him there. It was cool to see, because it was like, wow, you guys are young, but I like looking back on stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. I didn't know you were probably the cameraman of that video.
Yeah, I might have been. Yeah. And, early on, that was back when it was Girls Gone Wild. It was really big. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, we showed up to bars with, here I am with Mike's camera, and it's a professional Canon big freaking camera with this huge light on it. And, we're just going to check out the scene in Clearwater. Next thing you know, he's like, yeah, start recording. I'm like, I flick on the light, and girls from everywhere and guys, it's like, it turned into a huge party.
That's amazing.
So it was like spring break for dent guys. It was a lot of fun.
That's pretty cool.
Go
ahead, Nick.
I was going to say, I guess before smartphones and everybody had a camera in their pocket, I guess, that was a big thing.
We have gigantic, like printer size freaking cameras.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah. That thing's wild. It'd be crazy to have one today.
Yeah, it would be. But so I developed relationships early on with people at MTE. me and Mike to this day we're best friends. We talked at least once a week. We helped each other build our businesses. He went more of a direction of, videos and stuff like that. I got a retail location. We had the podcast together, PDR Tool Time.
Mhm.
I started that with him, and they actually asked me to come on as a fourth person, only because I was the guy that wouldn't buy new tools, right?
Yeah.
They would have
Mhm.
me. I was stuck on the old Dent Wizard style tools that were breaking my body. And Mike's like, you need to buy new tools. I'm like, no, I'm fine doing this, And they opened my mind to a whole world of wonderful tools out there that make our job a lot easier and cleaner. So
Mhm.
it was a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
That's cool. I did know you were on that podcast with him. I'd like to point out though that so it really benefited you to find another guy in this industry, and maybe not directly in your area, but somewhat in your area, connect with them, not be completely competition, go on trips together, work together, give each other leads and stuff. I think that's something that if you're not doing that, I mean, Nick, it's harder for you. There's no one in your area. But if you're not doing that with the guys in your area, or the companies in your area, or the women in your area, whatever, then you're going to be left behind. It's so beneficial for me to have David, Danny Espinal, I send him, he sends me, there are other guys up north in Connecticut that I'll send stuff to. I that's my biggest piece of advice to people trying to get into this, doing their own thing. Connect with the other people.
I gotta say, I ain't got a David.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You don't have anybody in your area.
Nobody. And not like there's 2 or 3 hours away,
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I was looking at this stupid comment. Look at this.
Yeah, I know.
What crazy, man.
YouTube Shorts brings in some interesting people.
It ain't bad as it has been this time. Usually it gets wild really fast. So that's good.
There's got to be someone around you, Nick. I mean, I have a database. We send stuff to Mississippi quite often. I'm not exactly where you are, Nick, but I might be able to help you in the direction of that. But it is definitely something. And Stefan, you're lucky that all those guys that you named, I've known those guys for 15 years. Yeah. And we all, when MT first started out, no one wanted to talk to each other. We didn't want to we're like, oh, that guy does dents too. Let's, should we go talk to him? We didn't know. Yeah. And MTE was like that common ground where we became a family, where even though I don't talk to David White, except for at MTE, he knows he can count on me at the time. You know what I mean? He could call me up tomorrow and say, hey, I need this. And I'm like, yeah, boom, done. And the brotherhood, they've pulled you into a brotherhood. So, Steph, you're kind of lucky there.
I feel very lucky. I mean, lucky to be, pulled in. But I will say I was persistent, so I made sure I was not a thorn in the side, but I was present, and stop by David's shop whenever I'm in the area, had some free time, just hang out, that kind of stuff, and it makes the difference.
It does.
It does. There's definitely been times like where I would be on the fly going, man, I wish I had somebody to ask about this specific situation, but it would be like right here, right now. And, you kind of have to make a decision on something pretty fast.
Yeah.
And
we all run into that.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, some of those, I learned a lot on them, and some of those, I did end up winning on them, but
right.
I don't know. It's just different out here. That's all, really.
Yeah. I mean, we all got to deal with what's in our areas and everything.
And you'll find your groove, Nick. You'll find your groove. And it might be you going up to to Wisconsin and do hail, and then come back, and next thing you know,
Yeah.
you find someone in your area or whatever. You know. You never
Yeah.
know.
No, I mean, I've got a don't get me wrong, I've got a pretty good, situation groove here, but I'm one of these people that I'm always looking to get better, do more, be better every single day, like
Yeah.
almost to a fault. So
Yeah.
so it ain't that. It's just I wouldn't think I would have the work here that I do with the population, the town and stuff that I do. So I've been fortunate with that. And it's been good. I have a lot of people out here that support me and do stuff. It's just like the closest guy, Jason Cheney, he's in Brandon, Mississippi. It's like 2.5 hours away. Then I got guys in Memphis that I know, that's probably an hour and a half or so away.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's guys around, but I would really have to travel at least an hour and a half to, to hang out with them.
Well, even when I had my retail location in California, and I lived in Long Beach, and I did a certain area that was my area that I would, because driving in LA, you don't want to, it sucks, right? You hear
right.
traffic out there, and it's 100% factual. So, I have my own little world, and I'm like, okay, well, I never run into dent guys at all, but I knew that California was just inundated and flooded with dent guys. And it wasn't until I got to Anson and got to see that what we send to California, and they were all around me. They were all around me, hundreds of them, not just a couple, 3. There was 100 dent techs around me within, a 50-mile radius.
Yeah.
When I do my Google, I'm always checking on my SEO in my Googles and everything. And I'm checking AI now on how I show up in the AI searches. And every time I do a search, it comes up with a company that's like 20 minutes down the road I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Never heard of them. I don't know the guy, nothing, but it's a Dentaway, Dent Magic or something. I don't know. It's just like, who the hell is that? And they're right there, and they've got a bunch of reviews and a website. Okay, so they're out there. I mean, not everybody's in the community.
No, they're out there. I know they are. I just have if they are close to me, I don't know it.
Right.
And I've tried looking, I just don't know it.
Yeah.
Vince, I want to learn how you got hooked up with Anson. How did you end up at Anson?
Okay. Well, it was through our podcast, really.
Okay.
Daniel, myself, and Mike, we had a podcast. Obviously, we talked about tools. It was PDR tool time, and we were very dedicated. We had 4.5 years of episodes every week, and only missed one episode in 4.5 years, right?
Wow.
And I don't remember the exact numbers, but we had a lot of people listening to us all around the world. And I think some of the manufacturers picked up on it. The smart ones did. And, the Anson family, Christina, she had, I'd met them at MTE, and they were freaking awesome people. I'm like, wow, these are, really cool people. And, they had invited us out to their open house, their first ever open house in Arlington at their old location. And Daniel and myself, Daniel Grom, we jumped on a plane and we flew out there. I think Mike came too, but he might have came separate. And I was rooming with Daniel Grom in downtown Fort Worth. And my impression of Texas the first time was an MTE. It was in Corpus Christi, and it was the biggest, shittiest event ever. It was terrible. It was the first time they ever decided to travel out of Florida to do an event because they had to. And I mean, we were out in farmland. The event was they just had a pig auction like days before. So the place smelled like pig shit. And, you walked out and there's a 3-legged dog walking across the street going into, a gas station. And it was just like, holy shit, I'm never coming back to Texas ever again. Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, these Anson people, they seem really cool. Let's go and support them. They've given us tools to check out and review. And if we liked them, like them. If we didn't, don't talk about them. And they were just really down to earth. And we flew out there, and we're like, okay, this is nothing like Corpus Christi. This place is really cool.
Mhm.
And Craig Dyer and his wife Lisa, we were going up to Fort Worth one night. I think it was the night before, and we were driving into Fort Worth, and I'm looking around, and I'm from Chicago. I know what a city looks like, and this, Fort Worth is a way smaller version. It's tiny, but everything about it was really cool. And I go, and I went over to Daniel. I'm like, this town is really cool. I could see my wife liking this. And Craig Dyer, the smart man that he is, he like zoomed in on that, right?
Mhm.
So the first open house was a success and everything. We left, went home, and I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks later, Christina had called me up and asked me if I was interested in teaching an IMI class, the electric vehicle power down procedure for Anson, for TDN. TDN is in England, and they had teamed up with TDN in England, and they were good friends with them, Jordan and Kevin and Tony. And they're like, we think you'd be a good candidate for that. I said, well, what does it all entail? And said, hold on, we'll be right there. And no joke, Christina and Craig was on the flight out to California. And, they're like, they pitched me this idea. And at that point, I'm in my mid 40s. I've been doing PDR since I was 20.
Mhm.
I kind of over the whole California thing. And it's like, you know what? Maybe this is time for a change. Let me think about it. Let me pull my wife out to Texas and see if she likes it. And they're like, well, you could do it remote. You don't have to move here. If you don't want to, you could do it remote. And I'm like, okay, well, either way, we might be, willing to move out there.
Yeah.
And she fell in love with it. They wined us and dined us with, their Texas hospitality. And my wife loved it. I loved it. And so they positioned me with an offer, and I'm like, well, I don't know if I could do that. That's a lot less, fixing dents, going to an ATM machine and pressing the button, and 20s comes out if you need it. And so I said, let's take a chance. All along, I've always been a good saver. I saw other dent guys fail by not saving their money, not having health insurance, not doing all this shit. And from the start, I always did it right. As hard of a nut it was to pay for health insurance, I paid for it every year or every month. All these things, I saved money. I had a couple of houses in California. I'm like, let's make a move. And I said, once speculation is I can't move until my son graduates 8th grade, because he was in the same school. I didn't want to mess him up. It's like, I didn't want him, start high school fresh in Texas. Well, what happens in, 2020? Fucking COVID. Right. So I've already been traveling all over the North America teaching this class, the IMI class for the vehicle power down procedures for electric vehicles. And I'm in Boston.
Traveled and did that class?
Yeah, I traveled all over. We did classes in Colorado, in Edmonton, and Calgary.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
So that year of lapse that I didn't want to move until my son graduated, I went and traveled and did the classes. Like Don Kavanaugh's shop, I had like 33 technicians there.
Wow.
Our boy here, Rapid Paintless Dent Removal in Boston. I was out there.
Yeah.
And that was the last class that I taught, which was 2 days before St. Patrick's Day, 2020.
Yeah.
I was at John Scotto's shop teaching a class. I got on the plane to go back to California, and they shut the country down. They shut the world down at that point.
Right.
So
Wow.
it's like,
No, that's cool. I heard many people, because I'm a huge proponent of training when it comes to electric vehicles for PDR. So I've heard many people tell me, oh, I took the class that Vince did. It was really good, So I've heard a lot of people learn from you.
Yeah, we probably had a good 250 technicians trained, within
that's
a good,
great.
8-month year period.
Yeah.
It was rolling, it was building. You know what I mean? And then, the carpet gets pulled out from underneath you. I'm already in motion to move to Texas. I
Yeah.
had sold one house. I'm going to buy a house here in Texas. I'm like, we just have to keep the train going.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then I get to Texas, and in Fort Worth, it's somewhat normal. People aren't wearing masks and all that garbage and stuff. But
Yeah.
it was still, kind of locked down, probably like 60% locked down. And we're like, what are we going to do? I can't teach a class. I'm just going to use my business skills to help grow Anson. And, they like, okay, what do you want to do? And I said, change the website, do this. And Christina had enough faith in me to be like, yeah, go for
Awesome.
it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Nice.
No,
So
it's,
That's awesome. I mean, that's a hell of a story. Like as far as like getting in there and having the carpet pulled out from under you through COVID, and still being able to make that switch and transition and make it all work and
Yeah.
stuff.
And if it wasn't for myself and Daniel Brown that's chiming in here right now, I
Mhm.
mean, coming out here for the open house, I would have never probably been where I am today.
Yeah.
isn't it funny how that happens?
Yeah.
The little things can be life changing like that.
And that's
It's-
why I say, Nick, you go to Wisconsin. You don't know what opportunities come
Right.
from you.
Right.
I'll take.
No,
Yes.
I am definitely looking forward to that. It's going to be good. I know I'm going to learn a lot of stuff out here. I'm just ready to get out here and get going. And, I did not have the Anson open house on my list until here recently. I think 2 days ago, I booked a flight and I said, you know what, I want to go out here and see all you guys and hang out and, just kind of give it an update, because the last time we was there was 2024. Want to see what 2026 looks like, and then from
Yeah.
there, Wisconsin for a few months, and then that's what I got. That's what that's what my next that's what my summer is going to pretty much. look like.
I did get an impromptu Anson visit in 2025. I showed up right behind Vin, and I'm like, "Hi," and he's like, "Oh," and I'm like, "I only got 15 minutes to shop."
Yeah.
I left so I did get to go in 2025, but
Yeah.
So you got to see like daily operations where, when it's not hail season, it's steady. You get the 15, 20 texts a day type thing. But
Mhm.
when it's hail season, there'll be 15, 20 texts lined up in the store.
Oh,
waiting to pay.
jeez. Well, then
So-
I'm glad it wasn't, because it was empty at that time. So that was good for me.
Yeah.
But
But it's a great company. I mean, the way that Christina runs it is it's a lot of fun.
Good.
She has a lot of faith in her employees. Myself and Craig, we work hand in hand with like tool development and talking to guys that come up with ideas and stuff like that. Craig is the driving force behind getting a lot of the tools made and stuff like that. He has the relationships with the tool makers, the machine shops, and like people come in, like you came in. I don't think they realize that like 98% of the stuff that's in our shop is American made stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Our
Right.
tools are made in America. Now, when you get into some of the accessories and stuff like that, they have to be made in a different country. Otherwise, you're not going to pay, $75 for a window wedge or something, something
Right.
silly.
Right.
So, but we have great relationships with all the tool manufacturers. I wouldn't say all, but I would say 99.999% of the tool manufacturers. I think a lot of people think that Dencraft and Anson, they don't talk or they don't jive or Willie Quick. I mean, we're all friends. We vacation together. We hang out together.
Yep.
We're all in it together. PDR Finesse, Pro PDR Solutions. We have relationships with all these people, and it's a really good community. And it's an avenue that I never looked at when I was a technician and didn't know about until I got into it.
Mhm. Well, it's one thing that comes to light when you go to an Anson open house and you see all the guys that are there. A lot of them are the tool makers themselves, or
Yeah.
inventors
Designers,
of a
yeah.
certain tool, designers, whatever you want to call them. They're all there hanging out and socializing and stuff, and just checking out each other's stuff. I mean, it's cool.
Yeah.
Which is why I did not want to miss this year. I wanted to at least come out and say, hey, see what's going on, what's new for the year, just because, like you said, it's like a Dent Guy family cut type thing, and it's fun.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's fun.
Yeah.
And the people that come, I know I'm getting a little bit winded, but I just wanted to make sure I mentioned some names because they're not selling tools when they're at Anson. So you could go up and talk to them. There's
Right.
you could go, the Dentcraft, Holly and Jennifer are going to be there.
Mhm.
Dent Reaper, John Vidine, obviously. He never misses an Anson event or any event.
Mhm.
VIP Piator or Peter, however you want to say his name. He goes by both.
Mhm.
Nick from Dent Vision, he'll be there. Cam Auto will be there. Willie Quick, obviously, they'll be there. They never miss an event either. Baytags is usually here. I'm not sure, but if you guys have ever had questions about hot boxes and stuff, it's a good opportunity to sit down with Ralph, the owner with Baytag. He usually comes to our events.
Cool.
He's super. I'm very knowledgeable on hot boxes.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That'd be a good person to try and get on this podcast, honestly.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
a riot. He's a riot. He's fun.
That'd be good.
Yeah,
That'd be good.
that-
No,
that
that's
would be
awesome. We're looking forward to it. It's this is an event. Honestly, I feel I'd rather go to. I mean, MT is almost like necessary to me, but I feel like the open house. I really didn't want to miss it last year, and I did. So
Right.
I'm gonna try and make the open house most years. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
do have the Christmas one, but the Christmas one is more laid back and it's more geared towards our local technicians that show up to that. There are people
Okay.
that come from out of town that just want to celebrate, the holiday spirit with us. The
Yeah.
open house one.
Okay. Yeah. No, actually, I do remember hearing about the one that happened in December. So it was, I didn't know that you guys did it. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I
Good
didn't
to know about.
I didn't either. But I know a lot of people are doing Dance for Kids and little
Right.
local stuff, all over the place. So, I mean, that's cool in itself just to see that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
The events during that season are definitely very cool to see.
Yeah, they are.
The
They are.
videos that come out of Jeremy Natter's thing, and I get to participate in David White's. So that's is very cool. If all the dent techs out there, if you can get to a Dents for Kids event, go to one, especially one where they fix dents at the
Yeah.
event. Very cool. I mean, all the events are awesome. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
No,
events.
that's cool.
Who's still up in the air? I contacted Danny today. I don't know if he's traveling or not from Kiko. I know Chris isn't coming because he's got to go to Arizona, but Kiko's questionable. Dave Streen from Edgy Tools, he's questionable.
Mhm.
Keith Cosentino, he usually comes, but I don't have confirmation of him.
Okay.
The guys from Fast PDR will probably be there. So if you have questions about their hammers and slide hammers, they're very popular. They'll be there as well.
I haven't met them yet, so that's cool.
I haven't
Yeah.
either, but I use one of their hammers, so it's good.
Yeah, Eduardo, he speaks perfect English. The other guys speak Portuguese, but you can understand them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. Well, looking forward to seeing you guys this weekend, and we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah,
Vin, thanks for coming on the show.
yeah. Raffles and giveaways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can't
sure.
wait.
So there'll be tons of stuff. You guys won't be going home empty-handed. I know, Stefan, you talked about not buying tools, but I guarantee
Yeah.
you're going home with some.
We gotta leave.
Oh,
we gotta
believe
leave
me.
with something,
I tell myself not to buy something, so I buy less.
All right.
That's really what that is. It's just me
Right.
combating that,
We'll see. We'll see what you end up going on with.
I'm
It's
rolling
always
up.
something.
I have a large duffel bag. I'm rolling it up, putting it in my carry-on bag. So if I need to check a bag for the way home, I can.
Gotcha.
I could probably convince Christina to do free shipping for anyone that's at the show too. And we have a good shipping department that could always ship stuff back. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely plan on having something shipped back here. So I just don't know exactly what yet, but
Oh boy.
we're gonna see.
well, we had 300 plus people at our first open house at this new location. So we're expecting about the same for this weekend. It's going to be big. It's going to be busy.
Cool.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you on Saturday. Hopefully see everybody there. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And thanks again for coming on the show.
We appreciate you.
Really
Anytime,
appreciate
guys.
it. Yeah, and we'll see you all next week.
See you guys.
Yeah, I'm going to find someone in your area.
Yeah, well, yeah. When I get down there, we'll look and see what kind of database you got, and I'll see if I actually know who they are or not.
You gotta find someone so Nick can creep up on them.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah. Hey there.
Who's that
All
guy
right.
out there? Who's that over there?
I'll see you all next week.
All right, man.
So crank it up.